I think it will. We were fairly happy with how it went. There was obviously a couple of disappointments to go, and probably the fact that we didn't go and score more goals. But it's pleasing the progress we're making in the short weeks that we've been together and been working hard. And I do think that a lot of teams should be watching us. And as I said, it was a real marker. And again, that's just how we're going to take every game. The manager's very much instilled the mindset that we do take every game as it comes. And that game there was no different. So it's just about progress, and it's, as I said, one game at a time.
A few of the yellow players at the end, interesting point coming out of it, were suggesting that Nathan's bit of skill at the end was maybe disrespectful. Should we not be encouraging stuff like that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's obviously a young lad that's came in and impressed in the few days he's been with us, and he's a very positive player and a very technical player. So I mean, these type of skills are in his locker, and they're in the way he plays the game. So I mean, you've got to promote that type of play. He's very expressive and he's a very confident player. So the longer he can provide those moments for us, albeit that we're doing well and we're on top in games, then great.
Is it showboating, or is there a line that you can cross, maybe, especially if you're 5-1 up?
I think there's definitely a line you can probably cross somewhere along the line, but in terms of how Nathan pulled his move off yesterday, again, you heard the reaction of the fans. They were standing up, they were screaming, they were shouting, and they adored it. So that's exactly what we are here to do. Not only as individuals, but mainly as a team. We want to send them home happy. We want them going home talking about us, talking about how well they enjoyed the game, and ultimately, come the end of the season, we want to repay them with the club moving back to where we should be playing.
Can you do that?
I could do the trick, but probably not in a game, no.
You tried it, no?
I could do it in training, but certainly wouldn't be trying it in a game.
So now that you've been officially announced as the club captain, what does that mean to you?
It means the world. I mean, obviously I've been delighted to have stood in over the last couple of seasons as vice under Jig, who was a tremendous captain in here. He was first class in the dressing room, and I learnt a lot just on being a man in and around the dressing room from him. So he was first class through there. So I'll certainly be trying my best to try and get as close to the characteristics he held or he had through there in the dressing room. So now that's been made official with myself, it's a huge honour, and I'm very appreciative of the manager that he's given me this role. So again, there's a lot of hard work ahead, and I'll certainly be doing my best to try and help anyone in the dressing room, and ultimately do my best on the pitch that I always try and do anyway. So I'm very appreciative of the manager.
Does it feel like there's a change for you then? Is it an immediate change, or is it a gradual thing, being captain?
No, well, I think I'm just going to be myself, really. I think long gone are the days that your captains are shouting and ranting and raving on pitches. I think now we're in the modern day era where the system and the philosophy we've got here, that I think if you can understand the way we play, which I think I do, and I think I can say the same for a lot of the players through there, we're that cohesive that I think anybody in the starting 11 could probably play anywhere in the team, which is a good sign, of course. So no, I just think I'm going to be myself, and just continue to try and do my best, help the guys in the dressing room, and do what I can on the pitch.
Do you feel that extra responsibility, if you like, being placed upon you?
Yeah, there probably will be that, but I'm really looking forward to that. I love the responsibility, and as I said yesterday post game, that I'm going to relish that and I'm going to meet it head on. So it's a responsibility that I'm really looking forward to, and just long may the hard work continue. We're working really, really hard. The intensity in training's there every day, so that ultimately on a match day it becomes easier for us. So certainly a lot of hard work to go from us.
Just going back to Nathan's trick yesterday, when the defender pulled it off, and it was kind of a bit of a veiled threat from him after the game, saying other defenders might not take it so nicely.
Yeah, I can understand Hammy's point. I mean, I was at Hearts with Hammy when I was a young boy. I can totally understand his points and fair comment, but I do think the isolated bit of skill was great for Nathan. As I said, there's obviously a line you can cross at times, but he's a technically gifted player. He's going to be expressive. He's going to try and use his technical skills in these games. So I mean, we'll promote that.
There was no physical retribution at the time, but is there maybe a fear being placed upon him then, if that's the sort of comments that are being put out, a threats being made against him essentially in that regard, other defenders might try and take it out of him? No,
I think he's a really bubbly character and he's a really happy lad, and again, I've only known him the last couple of days, but you get that impression from him. He'll laugh those comments off, he'll laugh the type of moments off, and he'll probably go and do it again whenever the time is right.
You were just saying you feel pretty good at the moment, and obviously with this new regime and the way that you're playing, and how close do you feel, Lee, to maybe getting an international recall? The squad is announced next Monday for the double header in September. How close do you feel you might be?
It's difficult to say, obviously, because the manager had obviously phoned me last season, during the course of last season, to make me aware of the fact that he was going to look at a couple of players, and one of them of which was obviously Andrew Robertson, who had done superbly well on his rise for Queen's Park through to Dundee United and on to Hull, and probably became the first choice left back at that moment in time. So that was fair comment at the time, and my mindset was always that I was going to do the best I can for Rangers, and at any moment in time, if I was doing well, then if the international call up came, then great. I think now that with the progress that Scotland have made under Gordon Strachan and how well they've done, the style of play that they've obviously implemented there, which I was part of obviously earlier in that campaign, but the progress they've made, I probably still see myself a wee bit away for that, especially with there's been a couple of other guys that have stood in and played left back who have been in amongst the squads, know the roles of the team, and have been comfortable in the consistent squad. Something I've probably felt I've never really been part of in terms of, obviously I made my debut in 2009 under George Burley. I was left out the next game, and I think it was just ever since then, whether it was obviously down to performances at Hearts or early performances at Rangers, I never quite found a consistency in the squads I was in. I was in one squad and I wouldn't be maybe in another one till a year later. So I never really had that Scotland player feel, although I've got 6 caps. But again, who knows what will happen in the future, but my first thought and main thought at this moment in time is doing the best I can for Rangers, and being part of a successful team this season.
Have you ever felt personally disadvantaged by the fact that you stayed here when the club went down the divisions and not moved on like many of the other players in the team did? And has that at all hindered your international career, do you think?
I'm well aware that might have been what's been said and what's going around the place, but if that was a sacrifice that was made, then so be it. I was so hungry to stay here and see the club back to where as I always say, where they should be playing football. I was so keen and eager to be part of that process. I had came and I was ever so hungry to win trophies, and I came into a dressing room when I first signed, fully winners, fully champions, and I wanted to be part of that. I wanted a taste of that. So I think obviously what's went off the field's happened. I had the disappointments of last season, which I'll not talk too much on. But these moments and these instances have made me even more hungry to go and do it, and we'll do it this time around. So again, if that's maybe hindered my international football, then it's something I'll just have to learn to live with, and I'm really content with.